Welcome back, dear students and friends. We have started with a new chapter, chapter number 3, Plant Kingdom, in the previous two sessions. I will just go briefly what we have discussed in the previous two sessions. We have seen that how the plants are going to be produced. So that is a classification of plant kingdom that we have learned. You know that according to Whittaker, there are 5 classes. We have discussed the first class, that is algae. In algae, we have learned its habitat, reproduction, cell type, important uses. You know that the algae can be divided into 3 types: chlorophyceae, phaeophyceae, and the rhodophyceae, according to a pigments that is present in it. So these are the 3 types: chlorophyceae, phaeophyceae, and rhodophyceae. This is a basic difference which exists between the chlorophyceae, phaeophyceae, and the rhodophyceae. Now today we have to learn the another class, and we are calling it as bryophytes. So students, stay concentrated. Today we will discuss the bryophytes. So what is a bryophytes? Bryophyte is one of the class of a plant kingdom, and it also have a simple organization like a algae, but not as simple as algae. It is somewhat complex to an algae. Okay, relatively simple, but it is complex to an algae organization you can find into an bryophytes. Where these bryophytes can be found? Bryophytes can be found into a moist, shady habitat. Like specifically you can find in the hills. On the hills you can find this moist, shady habitat where the bryophytes can be easily found. Bryophytes can again also be called as amphibians of the plant kingdom. You know the meaning of amphibian. Amphibian means those who can live in both land and water. Similarly, this is a plant which has in its life cycle, some of its parts they spends on the soil and the other parts it spends on the water. So here it can live in both soil and the water. So that's why we are calling this as amphibian of the plant kingdom. Why it has to go in a water? It has to go in a water for a sexual reproduction, that we will see later on why it needs to go in a water. But ultimate thing is that it can live on soil as well as water for sexual reproduction. The bryophytes, it has a very important role in a plant succession on the bare rocks and the soils. On the bare rocks and the soil, it is started as the first plant kingdom. So this is regarding the general introduction of a bryophytes. Now let's see what is the body organization or what kind of body organization of bryophyte. As we have discussed that bryophyte is a simple, but it is more differentiated than algae. That means its body structure is somewhat complex compared to algae. It has a simple structure like a thallus, means it doesn't have a root, stem, leaf-like organ. The plants of bryophytes may be prostrate or it may be erect. And these plants that is attached to a substratum, remember it's attached to a substratum by either unicellular or multicellular rhizoids. Rhizoids, that means a root-like structure. So this body of bryophyte that is attached to a substratum by unicellular or multicellular rhizoid. So such kind of body organization is observed in it. Now when we see regarding the organ-like structures in it, so here as I have told, it has a thalloid structure. That means it is lacking true root, stem and the leaves. Root, stem and the leaves, they are absent in this bryophyte. But it has root-like, leaf-like and the stem-like structures. You can find a root-like, leaf-like and the stem-like structures in it. Okay, in the bryophytes. Here the main plant body of a bryophyte is a haploid. Means it contains a n number of chromosome. And this haploid body is producing the gamete. The main plant body which is producing the gametes here. That's why we are also calling it as gametophyte. Remember here the main plant body is a haploid which produces the gametes. Hence we are calling it as gametophyte. The sex organs which are present in the bryophytes are the multicellular. The male sex organ is called as antheridium, whereas the female sex organ is called as archegonium. You have to remember, the male sex organ is called as antheridium and the female sex organ is called as archegonium. This antheridium produces biflagellate. Biflagellate means it contains a two flagella. I will show you in the next slide. So it produces the biflagellate anthrozoids. You can also call it as sperm. And the archegonium, that is a female sex organ, it is a flask shaped. We will see how it is a flask shaped, and it produces a single egg. In the flask shaped archegonium, there is a presence of a single egg. So such kind of a body organization you can observe in a bryophytes. I again discuss what is a body organization. It is very important. Here it has very simple body organization, but more complex than algae. It has thalloid structure, which may be prostrate or erect, that is attached to a substratum by the unicellular or multicellular rhizoids. They do not have a root, stem, leaf. True root, stem and the leaves are absent, but they have root-like, stem-like and the leaf-like structures. The main plant body is a haploid which generates a gamete. Hence we are calling this bryophyte as a gametophyte. The sex organs in the bryophytes are multicellular. The male sex organ is called as antheridium. The female sex organ is called as archegonium. This is important. You have to remember it. The antheridium or the male sex organ produces biflagellate anthrozoids. And the archegonium, which is a flask shaped, that produces a single egg. So such kind of a body organization we will observe in it. Now let's see how they are reproducing, or what kind of the reproduction that is going to be observed in it. See, I have told you that this is a plant body. See, just I am showing you. Okay, this is a plant body. This is a plant body. Remember how it reproduces sexually. And all kind of a bryophytes, they reproduces in the same way. Okay, so let's see how it is reproducing. In this is the main plant body. This plant body has both kind of a sex organs in it. This one, what I am showing, this one, it's a male sex organ. You know that what it is, it can be called. It is called as antheridium. This one, this is called as female sex organ, this one. And you know that what it can be called. The antheridium, the male sex organ, that produces a biflagellate anthrozoid. Here you can see this is the biflagellate. You can see that it has two flagella. Like see, this has a two flagella. You can see over here. Okay, so it produces the biflagellate anthrozoids. Similarly, the archegonium, this is the archegonium, a female sex organ, that is possessing a flask shaped. See here, you can see the flask shaped, and this flask shaped archegonium, it contains one egg cell. The centrally, which is a red color, that is a egg cell. Okay, now what happens? This anthrozoid or the sperm, this anthrozoid and this egg cell, they fuse together and it forms a zygote. What it forms? It forms a zygote. Okay, so the zygote is going to be formed. Now this zygote doesn't undergo meiosis, but it develops a sporophytic body. What it develops? A sporophytic body is developed. This sporophytic body that is attached to a photosynthetic body, you can see here, and thus it develops a plant. Here in the plant, the rhizoids that remains or attached with a substratum. Now they develop the certain organs, like you can say seta, capsules, and the food which are going to be developed. From this, ultimately what going to be formed? The spores are going to be formed. When these spores that germinate, it produces the young leafy gametophytes. When it matures, it has a presence of a sex organ. Thus, it reproduces. So again, just repeat. The male sex organ produces, that is antheridium, produces the anthrozoid or sperm. The archegonium produces the egg, both fused together form zygote that remains attached within a photosynthetic body, so it can generate a food. It grows up, develops organs like food, seta and the capsules. In it, some part produces the spore by a meiosis process. Upon germination of this meiosis, a young leafy gametophyte is produced, which matures and becomes an adult, and thus a new plant is produced. So this is a life cycle of a bryophyte. Okay. Now, what is the importance of this bryophyte? There are lots of importance of a bryophyte. The first importance is that it is providing a food for herbaceous mammals, birds, and other animals. It is providing a food because it is autotrophic in nature. It's a plant. So many mosses, they are acting as a food for herbaceous mammals, birds, and other animals. Even the species of sphagnum, remember, you have to remember this name, sphagnum. Sphagnum is a kind of a moss, and that provides a peat, so that's why it can also be used as a fuel. This sphagnum also has a water holding capacity. It also has a water holding capacity, and as it has a water holding capacity, it can be used for packing material of transshipment of living material. This is the third use. So the first use, it is providing as a food. The second, it can act as a fuel. The third, it can also used as a material for transshipment of a living material. Mosses along with the lichens are the first organism which is colonizing the rocks. Okay, these are the first organism which comes on the earth. You know that the algae are mostly found in the moist places, but these are the first organism along with a lichen which can be seen on the earth or a soil. So as it was the first along with a lichen to colonize on the rocks, it has a great ecological importance. These bryophytes can also decompose the rocks, and it make the substrate suitable for the growth of higher plant. So such kind of a thing that can be found with a bryophytes. Now the another use of this bryophyte, that the mosses is a kind of a bryophyte. It forms a dense mat on the soils, and thus they reduces the impact of falling rain. And thus it prevents the, you can say, a soil erosion. Soil erosion is prevented by it because it forms a layer. Okay, so these all are the importance of bryophyte. I just repeat it. It provide a food, it is providing a fuel, it is used for packaging of transshipment of living material, it colonized the rock first time, it has capacity to decompose the rock and make the substrate suitable for the growth of another plants or higher plants. It reduces the impact of the rain and prevent the soil erosion. So these are the uses of or importance of bryophytes. So that's all about the general introduction of bryophytes. In that we have discussed its habitat, body organization, reproduction, and its importance. But there are two types of bryophytes. The first one is called as liverworts, and the second one is called as mosses. We will discuss both liverworts and the mosses in detail. So let's discuss each one by one. Okay, so here first we are starting with the liverworts. Now it is clear to you, liverwort is a bryophyte, so it follows the basic characteristic of a bryophyte. Even the mosses are also bryophyte, so it also follow the basic characteristic. So most of the time you can find the basic characteristics same, okay, because they are the type of bryophytes. So see, let's start with the first habitat. You know that bryophyte can be found in a moist shady habitats. So similarly, the liverwort is also a bryophyte. So it is also found in a moist shady habitat like bank of stream, marshy grounds, damp soil, bark of trees, deep in the woods. These are the usual locations where the liverworts are found. Here, its body organization is thalloid, like which can be observed in the case of Marchantia. Marchantia is one example of liverwort. The thallus is dorsiventral, and that is closely resemble to a substrate. So here the body of this bryophyte, or you can say liverwort, is closely resembling to a substrate, so cannot differentiate. Even few members of this liverworts are leafy in nature, and they have tiny leaf-like structure. Remember, they don't have a leaf. Here you can see. Okay, here these are the examples of liverworts. Here you can see a leaf-like structure. They are not leaf. And they are arranged in the 2 rows of stem-like structure. So such kind of body organization is observed into a liverworts. Next, if you see the reproduction of a liverwort, asexual reproduction in liverworts takes place by fragmentation. Fragmentation of a thalli or the formation of specialized structure called as gamete. The gamete which are going to be produced are the green, multicellular, asexual buds which develops into a small receptacle called as gamma cups. I will show you in the previous. Here see, there is a formation of a gamma cup. This gamma cup which remains attached with a parent plant body. Okay. So the gamete that becomes, they are attached to a parent plant body. When it develops, it detaches from the parent plant body and germinate to form new individuals. This what happens in case of asexual reproduction. So remember, in asexual reproduction, the liverworts reproduces by fragmentation or by formation of special structure called as gamete. Whereas how the sexual reproduction takes place? The sexual reproduction that takes place as we have discussed in general in the bryophyte. Here the male and female sex organs are present. They may be present on the different thalli or on the same thalli. Like here, I can show you. This is the archegonium, female sex organ, that's present on one thalli, and this is antheridium that is present on another thalli. So here the male and female, they are present on different thalli, but it can also be found on the same thalli. Here, you know the process. Both fuse together form zygote. Zygote develops and ultimately it forms a sporophytic body. Sporophytic body develops into a foot, seta and the capsule. Okay, this capsule, they produces the spores. The capsule, it produces the spores, and these spores that germinate to form free living gametophyte, that is a young one. What we have discussed like this. Okay, so I am showing you. So see such kind of a process, sexual reproduction, that occurs in the bryophytes in general. So you just have to remember for one time, and then you have to write the same thing in the liverworts. Okay, so I hope so you understand it. Now the second type of bryophyte is the mosses. Second type, it's a mosses. You know that in a bryophyte, the main plant body is the gametophyte. So the gametophyte is a predominant stage in the life cycle of mosses. The life cycle of mosses has 2 phases. First phase is called as protonema phase, and the second phase is called as leafy stage. So what is the characteristic of protonema or the first phase? So first characteristic it does, it develops directly from a spore. Second, this phase, the plant is creeping, green, branched and frequently filamentous. Whereas in a leafy stage, it says upright, slender, and it axis bearing a spirally arranged leaves, or you can say a leaf-like structure. Leafy stage is a stage which bears a sex organ. This is the second stage. So in the life cycle of mosses, you can find these 2 stages, protonema and the leafy stage, which has its own individual characteristic. These are the characteristic of protonema stage, and these are the characteristic of leafy stage. Now see how they reproduces. They reproduces mostly same like a bryophytes. But there is only one difference is that here the time period is somewhat elaborated. So in this reproduction, the first kind of a reproduction is the vegetative reproduction. That is, the mosses do a vegetative reproduction by fragmentation and the budding. So the budding and the fragmentation that occurs by secondary protonema. And the sexual reproduction occurs in the same way with the use of sex organs like antheridia and the archegonia. You know that antheridia is a male sex organ, now you know it. And the archegonia is the female sex organ. They are present at the leaf apex. They releases their gametes, that's antherozoids and the egg, that fertilize to form a zygote. Zygote ultimately develops into sporophyte. This sporophytic body contains food, seta and the capsule. But the difference I have told you that here this phase, this sporophytic phase in a mosses is elaborative in nature, and the capsule that contains the spores. The spores, they are formed after a reductional division, or you can say a meiosis, and that spores are going to be dispersed. When it is dispersed from it, the young plant body is going to be developed. A young mosses will develop, and these are the examples. So which are the examples of a mosses? First is funaria, second polytrichum, and the third one is sphagnum. These are the examples of mosses. So that's all about the two kinds of bryophytes, liverworts and the mosses. So here we are ending with the bryophytes. It is important. Either of them can be asked, or general introduction regarding the mosses can be asked. It is easy to understand. So learn it thoroughly. Students, keep learning, keep watching, like and subscribe this channel. Thank you for watching.